What up? What up? What up? This is Black Man Rankings, where we cover and review things, rank things, and conquer and tackle existential questions. I got my boy Black Male in the house, and what I've noticed, Black, is that there's an article out, man, saying that almost a third of Americans are secular. They're non-affiliated. Seemed like when the pandemic happened, man, a lot of people started to become unaffiliated with religion, man. What's going on with that?
Just on a personal note, do you remember a while ago, several times in the past, I've told you that in the end, people are going to fall away from God, about believing
Yeah.
in the Bible. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it was already a trend when you said it, though. Just keep that in mind.
well, it wasn't documented. We never discussed it being documented nowhere, but I just said it as a matter of fact back then because I knew the prophecy. So when you say religion, in my mind, I understand it comes from the root word religio, which means to bind, right? Anything that you're bound to is your religion. It becomes your religion, right? People are
I
bound.
don't know about that. I think it has some spiritual connection to it. Just because, I mean, you could believe in, you could believe in sandwiches and not be religious to sandwiches. You know what I mean?
Well, if you are bound to it, that's your religion. You do it religiously.
I don't agree with that definition of it, man. Religion to
That's
me
just the definition. It's not.
it has a spiritual connection. It's not. I mean, you could be bound to a lot of things. You could be bound in
Yeah,
jail. You're
and
not.
people
You're
are.
not spiritually connected to jail. You can't wait to get out. You see what I'm
Listen,
saying?
check this out. Let's check this out. Back in the days, right? In the biblical days and before biblical days, people was worshiping the moon, for instance. They felt like the moon had powers, so they would worship the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And people would
Amun. Called it Amun.
simultaneously, yeah, they would simultaneously worship the sun. They felt like the sun had special powers. Some people would worship other
Ra.
people. Yeah, they would worship people. Some people, like in India, parts of India, you know, they will worship cattle. For instance, so, and the list goes on and on and on. People worship in inanimate objects all the time. So a sandwich will just be another one on the list. Whatever you worship, whatever you revere, and you're bound to as a part of your faith belief system, and you do it religiously, qualifies
It's
you
not.
as being
I
religious.
Okay. Well, I disagree with that. I
That's a
think it
fact.
has to have some
That's a
kind
fact.
of spiritual or religious
That's you saying
connection.
that.
Yeah, but that's you saying that, and we just totally disagree
But
with
the
that.
root
I
word,
like you can't. I wouldn't call somebody who religious uh just someone who has a method of doing something, or and I can understand where the figure of speech of you do it religiously comes from, but that's just what it is, a figure of speech. It's not meant to be uh you know uh taken so literally. It says here, when more than a quarter of Americans said the coronavirus pandemic has made the personal faith growth stronger, according to another Pew. But COVID-19 wasn't enough to reverse the trend of Americans leaving organized religion. It looks like a lot of them have left organized religion, and probably because they couldn't get in churches, um,
Well,
during
that
this time. And when, they let them stay home, they just found another way. And probably a lot of them were, upset with the virus that's going around, probably felt like it was the last days. And probably a lot of them had a lot of loved ones pass away from this virus. So there's a lot of
yeah,
reasons to lose a lot of faith. Even you lost your job too. You know what I mean? You could have lost your job. You could have lost your loved ones. We lost loved ones who had, this thing that's out, and you kind of lose hope. So they've been losing people by the droves, and right now it's almost a third of every American now.
yeah. So what I want to say to that is, you got to understand, man, with the invent of the internet, man, and different apps that people can actually, instead of going on things like going to church in the flesh, they tap on Zoom, and they still go on Zoom, and they do their religious act, if that's what they're gonna do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other part that you're not gonna be able to read in that book or in a whatever platform you're reading from is the fact that people have just waken up. People are starting to really wake up, and they're starting to really see that, as you know it, religion was never the answer. Religion itself is not the answer. Like I said,
so you're not even really tripping off of this finding that more people are becoming non-affiliated. You're not even
why
really
would I trip off that? Why would I ever trip off that?
Well,
I was never religious. As of the last maybe 12 years or whatever, 13 years, I ceased to be religious.
Do you read a religious book?
No, there's no such thing as a religious book. It's the definition is bind, right? To shackle, to stronghold, whatever has that stronghold on you, and you do religiously. Now, some things do have spiritual aspects to them, but some things they don't. Some people watch sports religiously, right? Like Sunday night football or whatever. Like, if they even have these practices to where they got to wear their lucky socks so their team would win. By all intents and purposes, that's superstition.
Yeah, because it's
a
superstition. Yeah, football. Because religion is superstitious. So what is your
football is a religion to some people.
It's not a religion, man. It's a sport. It's a sport that they enjoy.
Yeah.
You're trying to intertwine that with religion.
No, I'm bringing perspective.
Religion is spiritual with a God in it.
That is spiritual to them.
That's not a God to them. Okay, that is something totally different.
You can't tell me
it seem like you can't do anything, repetitively without it being religious. That's ridiculous.
You just disagree with it because of the newfound understanding of it, but you disagree, and that's your prerogative. But that is what it is.
No, that's just your definition.
That's facts.
That's not a fact. That's a fact in your world, but that's not a fact. That's like saying, I heard somebody say that science is religious. Science is not religion. Science is a practice. It's a study. It's like doing mathematics. That's like saying, oh, mathematics is religion. No, it's not.
This version of science is in fact a religion.
It is not a religion.
Yeah.
You are you're trying to define it as religion when it is science. As a matter of fact, science don't even really believe in religion for that matter. So
that's like saying the pot is black and you the kettle Like, listen, it's one and the same. There's no
Not
way
one and the
just because
same,
you
bro.
make a proclamation
There's not
that
one and
you
the
could
same.
separate yourself
Your
from your action.
definition of religion is anything you do repeatedly, anything you like to do. That is your religion. That is the wrong definition
It's
of
whatever you
religion.
bound to.
Religion has a faith-based a faith base to it. It has something to do with God.
At the
And
highest level, hear me
nah,
out.
it ain't
At the
about no
highest,
highest level. It's period. It's period.
hear what I'm saying. At the highest level of science, you will find out if you keep studying science that they are very, very religious people. And if you don't believe me, Google CERN, CERN, and Google the opening when they opened CERN, and Google the ceremonies that they performed at the door of
I know
CERN,
about CERN,
the head
man.
office, and Google the gods that they was worshiping at the door of the highest scientific, investigative research department and facility in the world, to the tune of about 15 miles circumference in Switzerland.
Listen.
It is a religion, whether you know
That
it
is
or not.
not a
And that's
religion.
facts.
There are some scientists who are religious, but science itself is not
You don't get
religion.
it. You don't
It's
know.
just
You
not.
don't get it. Bro.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Why do you think that so many people are, switching over and
I know
becoming
why they are.
non-affiliated? Why?
I know why they are.
Why?
I know why they are, man.
Why?
Man, look, man, just recently, right? Just recently, this had to be last week. It's the 15th today. Just last week, a couple of days ago, one of your boys, one of the mega, he got the biggest American church, in the States, right? Joel Osteen. He's the biggest preacher, out there, one of the biggest ones. He has a whole football stadium for a church, right? Literally.
Yeah.
Some service providers. I don't know if it was construction, janitorial, whatever it was. They was doing some work in his church, and inside the walls, they found bundles of money.
Yeah.
Bundles of money.
Like $600,000
in cash, right? Now listen.
Well, in checks too. Like 200 in cash and 400 in checks.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's just paper, it's credit, you know what I mean? But my point is,
they didn't even give him a reward for finding that.
Oh, I don't see them doing that.
They didn't even say
there's
thank
some
you.
cold-blooded people.
They didn't even say thank you.
Of course,
because they didn't give them no reward.
Because they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed. They want this thing to just go away.
You know what? You know what I was saying.
And that's just one example. But listen, the other example is the same exact preacher, the same one during Hurricane Katrina. What did he do? When people was out there, help us, help us. What did he do? He put the phone call in. Lock the doors. Don't let them in. Right? Don't let them in. They trying to get in because there's a hurricane out there. He said, don't let them in. Lock them people outside.
Yeah.
These ain't people of God. They have
want
no
people
clue.
to stay religious with leadership like that.
Listen, they don't serve God. They don't serve the Most High. They serve another God.
Get this though, Black. Get this though,
another
Black.
one.
Get this.
That other one.
Yeah. Well, get this.
Yeah.
That $600, $600,000 was insured. So if you got $600,000 insured and the insurance company paid you, but you got $600,000 in your own walls, I ain't gonna even say no more. It was insured. I would trip if it wasn't insured and they just lost that money and it was just like this, that, and the third. But since it was insured and it was found in its own church walls, that looks super suspicious, bro.
Well, yeah.
You know, people don't want to say insurance fraud. They don't want to say that. You know what I mean? Because it's a church. It's supposed to be upstanding and things like that.
Because you got to show where that is in a bank on a statement when you balance your books somewhere. If it's really not there, if you claim insurance against that money.
And for the record, I'm not saying it's insurance. I'm not saying it's insurance fraud either, but it's walking like a duck right now because
there's no reason. There's no reason for it to be in the walls.
There's no reason for it to be in your own walls.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Unless you want to still have access to it without it being seen.
They're off the books. Yeah. It's corrupt no matter what. It ain't right no matter what. He shouldn't have that much money. And it's poor people coming in and attending his church every Sunday. He shouldn't have that much money. How do you justify having all that money and it's poor people giving their last dime to you every Sunday? And how do you justify hoarding all this money? And you a man of God and all that. It's a reason people walking away. It's a reason people waking up and realizing religiosity as we know it was never the answer, especially your people. They realize it. No. It's not about religion. It's about coming back to our original heritage and culture. Who we are is children of the Most High. All we got to do is reconvene our relationship with who created us first and then the rest of the world, the Gentiles too, so we can get back on our throne like we're supposed to be, man. The Bible itself is not a religious book. It is a history book.
So has religion done? I know you're not a so-called religious, right? So would you say that religious has done more damage than good for our community?
Yes, 101%. It has destroyed the minds of our people. It is another version of white supremacy.
Wow.
Yes, that's what it is.
Bars.
That's what it is.
You know what? This is the one time you're not going to get an argument from me.
Hey, it is what it is. It's an absolute fact. That's what I know. That's what I know. That's not what I believe. It's what I know.
But to get back to our own, man, would consist of some things that our people in our community aren't comfortable with. Like if you were to take down, just for instance, a picture of a white Jesus, you put a black Jesus up, they wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
No.
Because they've already been programmed.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's not something.
Unfortunately.
And that's due to a lot of religions. Now, for all those people out there who are religious, that's fine. Everybody's welcome to believe what they want to believe, think how they want to think. You want to pray to the Most High, you want to pray to God, you want to pray to white Jesus. To each their own, but at some point you have to it has to serve you in some kind of way. And a lot of times I don't see any of that serving especially our community. I don't see it serving us. The only thing it does is it funnels a collection of money, and all of spare change we can come up with. It funnels all of that money out of the community and into the hands of these churches and mega churches, and then it goes back to their it doesn't do any, it doesn't serve us.
Listen,
is what I'm
man,
saying.
the stuff, this, I'm gonna put it like this before I dip. What they're doing is anti-Christ. What they're doing is against what the book and the Bible says to do. The book says, I was hungry and you fed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was in jail and you came to visit me. Listen, if we're not doing for others as we want them to do for us, we are not following the book or the man that's most popularized in the book in the name of Christ, the anointed one. Listen, what these cats is doing is they're doing for self. They have trust set up. Their children drive the most expensive cars. They live in the fattest houses. Doggone, they can ask for, Creflo Dollar is one of the biggest mega church preachers out here. His name stands for Creative Flow of Dollars. Creflo Dollar. Yeah. Build on that. He asked for a $65 million airplane. He asked for that. His church, I need a $65 million airplane. And I'm praying to God that y'all gonna give it to me. And he got it. These are false apostles, false prophets. They're demonic. These people are doggone white supremacists dipped in chocolate. They hate us, period.
That's why I said it's money that gets funneled out of our, like if we were trying to build something else like schools or something like that, that money goes to that stuff, and it goes into,
you know how much money goes to these
planes.
churches? I was doing it for a minute, man, for a time before I knew any better, before I woke up to my true nationality of being a Hebrew Israelite, before I understood that there's a culture connected to being a Hebrew Israelite, and there's a real God that's anti everything we see today. He would be flipping the money changers tables over if he was here today. He would be cutting heads off, quite honestly. Because when he come back, he's not coming back to shake hands. He's coming back to kill. And that's the part of Revelations people never preach about. He coming back with vengeance. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. He come back. These preachers are the first ones to die, period. Bump the religion. It's about the heritage. It's about the culture. It's really about the man who sacrificed it all for us against them Caucasians, right? The Romans, who happen to be over all the churches today, the Roman Catholic Church. Ain't that a hypocrisy? Are you kidding? The whole doctrine comes from them. Romans, they were antichrist then and now. All that.
Yeah. So,
I
yeah.
gotta dip, man.
Yeah. All right then, man. With that being said, thanks for joining us. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Sister BMR covered it. It's official. Thanks for joining us, and we out. Peace.
All right.